Oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic today. Let's analyze the situation for the price of Bitcoin today. Hope you're doing great, guys. Let's go. Let me just quickly say hello to the beautiful community here in the comment section and see what is going on with the price of Bitcoin. Getting a little bit of a pump now as we speak, but we are literally still inside of the range. Okay, very boring range, guys. It's been 4 weeks already inside this range between $72,000 and $60,000. We're going to break down the few scenarios that are left because we only have a few scenarios left, guys, before we leave this range. We're going to leave it very, very soon, okay? And we're going to talk about the different scenarios that could play out, of course. Now, I'm currently in no new trade at the moment. SFP from the highs, that was all good. And treat it as a scalp. Very difficult for a high here to be finished and literally roll over. I'll explain that in today's stream, but that's been closed, long been closed. We need to really take this area as a day trading zone, okay? It's very difficult to get into that swing trade mentality here. I'm going to short here and, you know, expect that we're going to go down to 50K levels, or I'm going to long here, right, and expect 80K. I know people that have been long for 2 weeks and they're literally in the same trade. They've been in the negative, in the positive, in the negative, and they've treated it as a swing long or a swing short. And this is the thing. If you've been shorting here or longing here, right, you're literally, you know, not doing anything. So we try to look for the internal day trade scalp setups. I think we're getting very, very close for that swing trade perspective. Anybody that did take out the short position, you know, just generally taking some profits as we do get that movement down. We did form that nice little SFP from the range highs right over here that we do have at $70,000. Nice little quick SFP. It did end up moving down a few $1,000s. Anyway, we're going to crack down the different scenarios. Let me just quickly say hello to the wonderful community here. Best moment of the day. Paolo, much love to you. Thank you very much for the kind comment. Good afternoon, Andy, and hello, chat. Suzanne, much love to you. Daniel Singleton, how are you doing, my man? Evening. Hope you're doing great, my man. Oh, nice to see you here on the stream. Crypto Cowboy Oz, good day, guy. Back from the Middle East, safe and sound. How has everyone been while I was away at work? Much love to you, Crypto Cowboy Oz. Justin. Here we come, the dump. Nico Soapy, how are you doing, my man? Much love. Thanks for joining the stream. I can see you there. Thank you very much for joining. Hey, Andy, and all the legends. Philip, how are you doing? Hit the like button. I don't get why it's pumping now. It does not make sense to me. Distance music. Yes, I know. The thing is, we're going to break down now the analysis, okay, guys? So make sure to get your coffee, water, beer, your good old English cup of tea. Long time since I've had a nice warm cup of tea, English breakfast, because it was too warm in Dubai to have tea. So it's a bit chilly here. So yeah, a nice cup of tea is good indeed. Let's dive in, okay? Right. Man, it's just been extremely boring. I'm out of all of these local trades here at the moment. I have no new trades. Talking about today inside of the community that, you know, we're very, very likely going to see a bounce in this region. Now, it's still very, very valid. I'm going to talk about a setup today on the stream that I am waiting for. Will I get it or not? That is the question. You know, I would say that this double bottom, it is a little bit aggressive. You know, some of the somebody inside of the trading community was just pointing out, you know, about getting into this long position on a double bottom. We do have that point of control here from the last couple of days. This was Sunday and Monday price action, and we can see that high volume node doing its job, right? We got one first bounce today, then we double bottomed, right? It is a high volume node regardless. The bullish case scenario here is, you know, literally forming a double 1-2, 1-2, right? And then shoot to the upside. However, I have a problem with this. I do have a problem with this scenario. It's this move to the upside was extremely fast, as you can see. And this is very, very long in time. if we are going to relate this pump with this one. Okay, so it does seem like that this is a 3-wave structure. And this is on the 15-minute time frame, guys. I think it's time. I think I should zoom out really to explain a little bit what are the patterns and scenarios that we could be looking at here. Shall we go as back as the 4-hourly time frame, 1-hourly time frame, or 15-minute time frame? Let me know in the comment section. I think 1 hour to 15 minutes is more than enough. Nothing really has changed on the 4-hourly time frame, right? There's just nothing new to discuss. We like to jump in the 1-hourly, 15-minute. I think we're gonna keep the stream at 1 hour and 15-minute time frame here, so we can talk about the internal levels and where I'm looking for the hidden scalp day trade opportunities. If not, wait for the next price action, potentially in the coming days, to look for that swing trade, right? Are we going to finally move down to $60,000, or do we push up to 72K plus, right? What comes next in this range? Do we get down to 60,000 or plus $72,000? And that is something that will be interesting to see here inside of a poll that I'm going to create right now. What is next for Bitcoin? Let me know right away. Okay, do we get plus 72K or do we get minus 60K? Of course, we are closer to the 72K plus region, but you know, still in the range. Let me know right away, okay, inside of this poll that I've just created right now. Okay, legends. All right, let me know, get your votes in, and let me just say a quick hello to the beautiful people here. Beth Maria Vallejos opened cover for this stream. Much love to you. Thank you very much for joining. Dixon, what's up, my man? What's up, bro? Dixon, much love to you, my man. Andy, ¿cuándo le cambiaste el nombre al canal? This was in the last few days because we have Devilt joining the community, of course, joining YouTube. And, you know, it was my name on YouTube channel, so decided to change it as we have Devilt on board right now. He's doing the morning updates. I'm doing the evening updates with New York Open. And yeah, that's had to change the name of the channel because it was only my name, and we got Devilt on board, as you can see here. With the picture, it's myself back to back with Devilt. Much love, James. How are you doing? Much love. Burle, hey Andy, much love. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go right away through the analysis, okay, and discuss a little bit. Let me know on the poll, okay. Let's get those votes in. We got 43 votes. How many likes do we have? We have more votes than likes, I think. Oh, it would just equal 45 likes, 47 votes. I guess that's fair. Let me know in the comment section. Just out of curiosity, you know, did anybody get into this swing failure pattern? Okay, I'm out of that trade just because I realized that this is unlikely going to be the high of you know, basically the range, and we go down from here. I'm not confident. You know, this is why this zone should really be treated as a scalping environment, okay? Because as explained, I do know someone, you might follow him as well, that has been in a long now for over a week in this area. You know, we need to treat this zone as a day trade scalping area. You know, if I'm in a short position from here and we move down, and I don't take most of the profits, if not all of them, and the price comes back up here, you know, I'm going to be pissed off. I won't be happy. So the swing short is not available for me at the moment as of yet. If you are considering swing longs, and we are going to, you know, that we are going to take out 70K plus in the next coming days, this is your chance, because there is a possibility that this has been a low, and this could be a wave 1, a wave 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, boom, you break out in a third wave. Or it could be also a wave 1. It could be an ABC flat, running flat. That would have to be, because if you take out this low, you're literally coming to the start of wave 1. But looking for the bullish case scenario to get above 70K, you know, you want to try and get into longs either here or either here. I prefer another long situation, which I'm going to explain in today's stream. All right, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But let me know if you did get into the short. As we were getting into the zone on yesterday's stream, you know, it was value area high. It was the only trade setup that looked interesting. And man, the risk to reward on these SFPs, you get the deal. They're like the best. They're like the top-notch trading strategy setups, right? Liquidity grab from a pivot high, and your stop loss is, you know, regardless if you took all of the profits on the retracement here yesterday, right? It's just the risk to reward on these SFPs. They are absolutely amazing. They're just, you know, worth the shot to take. And we actually dropped down significantly, okay, with that SFP yesterday, getting that bounce at the point of control. So what is next? What is next? What am I looking for? I want to get into a swing trade because I'm a little bit tired in this range, you know, literally getting, you know, kicked out of part of the trades that I'm in, right? You know, was in a long here. Also yesterday, got kicked out yesterday. This morning, you get kicked out from that trade. And all of the short from the SFP has been closed just because I understand that it's unlikely that this is the high. You know, we like roll over from here, right? It's just unlikely that that is the high to roll back down and break the lower part of this range. So out of all of the trades, just literally getting kicked out and just taking most of the profits from this little range. I'm just currently in that long position, which is only you know, on silver, very, very small position at this moment on silver. Most of the profits were taken at 92k, and I missed the short position. It was part of a plan, SFP, from that pivot high that we had on the 4th of April. That's on silver. Didn't get into this trade in the end, but overall looking for a new trade setup, and hopefully it can be shared here with you legends inside of today's stream. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. I'll go quickly through the comment section and I'll break down a little bit of the set scenarios that I'm looking for, okay? Kind of bit not interested where we are at the moment. Not that interested in a trade where we at, okay? Much love to everybody. So 58% of people, almost 100 votes here, are calling for plus 72k. That is coming all the way up to the highs of the range, okay? A lot of people confident. I can see over 56% that is, and 44% says we go down to the range lows at minus 60k, right? We're going to break down now the few scenarios just before we continue. Just wanted to give that quick disclaimer, guys. This content is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Enough talk. It is time to break things down. Okay. Scenarios. Let's go with the bullish case scenario. And if you are feeling bullish, it makes sense to attempt any long positions on this retracement that we have had throughout the last couple of days. These pullbacks that we're getting after the pumps, I have to say, they are valid to get into a trade. Now, if you talk about the perfect trade setup, looking for double bottoms, right? In this case, right? That would have been a good sniper trade. Stop loss beneath the low of the wick. Move up, protect position. You get the deal. When you're a little bit in no man's land, I don't see this as a, solid impulse down. It does look very overlappy, a bit corrective. I'm not confident here for a lower high. I just have to say, if I want to look for this to roll over later on, form a lower high in this region, I'm not confident in this short. I don't see high probability, so I'm not going to take it. So let's go through the bullish case scenario, right? For all of those people that are calling out that, we're likely going to get above $72,000, right? We do have more votes on getting above $72,000 plus, and that's what we're going to break down, okay? I'm not seeing anything at this point. Andy says distant music. Yes, I know. This is where we're gonna fit in Elliot Wave theory. Okay, I know it's a bit of a headache. I know for the average Joe out there, the people that don't have too much experience with Elliot Wave theory, I know it can be a little bit of a headache. But when the range continues and still forms more waves, it does come to a conclusion, and that's why we are here. We're here to break that down because, of course, if you're using volume profile or order blocks or daily levels and, point of controls, yeah, these are all good and nice for little internal scalps, right? Just like the one of yesterday. Getting away Elliot Wave theory out of the way for the moment. Sometimes it's good. Forget about Elliot Wave theory. We're coming up to the value area high, SFP of the high. Hey, you know, this is like the meat and potatoes of getting into a little scalp trade, right? Just get into that swing failure pattern, regardless of what Elliot Wave count you have in this zone. And, you know, along the point of control of the range, right? We did get beneath it, but it's kind of holding. Hey, why so much Elliot Wave theory when I can just get a fixed volume profile, have liquidity, you know, levels, and, you know, look for SFPs, value area high, SFP, point of control bounce. I'm shorting here, I'm longing here, right? Keep it simple sometimes, right? Why we're fitting in Elliot Wave theory at the moment is to know what patterns could develop in the next couple of days, and where could there be those next hidden trading opportunities better for a bigger move. Because all of these volume profile levels and, you know, daily level SFP or whatever, they can give you a scalp trade setup. But, you know, a lot of people would say, right, SFP, I'm in the short, I did not take any profit, this is going to be the high, I will take profit once we get down to 60k. Well, no, you know, it doesn't work like that. I'm pretty confident that this is not the high yet of this range. And you may ask, well, why? Well, this is where you fit in Elliot Wave theory, right? This is where you fit in the corrective structures. You know, one of the main reasons why is because from this low over here, we do have a 3-wave structure to the upside. And it's very difficult for me to combine something with the overall structure to have something finished here, you know, and look for the price to roll over. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't have anything solid. So that means that, you know, the range continues, or we actually go to higher levels and we take out this high overall and maybe go higher. Because the bears are going to be bears and the bulls are going to be bulls. And, you know, people that are shorting here, for example, you know, are really going to hold on as tight as possible to that short to see if it is going to roll over. Well, I'm here to break things down. I'm here to break things down and just make you understand that, you know, it was very unlikely that this was the pivot high. And it all had to do with the different combinations that we have, especially from this low. Move up, correction, move up. It's a 3-wave structure. I don't have any combination for a high here to be created in a WXY or whatever. You know, I don't have anything that is, you know, completed at this pivot. So if this is why yesterday we explained, if you're taking this SFP, you know, you move down a few $100 to $1,000, you know, start thinking about collecting, you know, most of the profits as you move down, because, you know, right now we're literally coming back up to that zone. So anyway, bullish case scenario, we're going to talk about it. You know, nothing has really changed from the bullish case scenario that we were talking about yesterday. That's literally looking at this movement to the upside to either be a wave 1 or a wave A, right? This move to the upside from $60,000 right over there to be a wave 1 or a wave O. That's the low of the movement down. That's the high of the range. This is one wave to the upside. There's no doubt about it. It's one wave to the upside right there that we have. Now it's all about combining what the heck is here, right? Because this is the lowest pivot, all right, since this high, we need to have something available finished at this zone. And this is why we put here, well, this could be either wave 2 or wave B, right? That is very much possible. I don't like the idea that this is a wave 2, just because this is over 5 times longer from your wave 1, and that gives higher probability for it to be a B wave in this case, right? It can be a wave X as well. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. So if this is a wave 1 and this is a wave B, then yeah, we need to look at this movement to the upside as another wave 1, right? So we are looking at that movement to the upside as, okay, wave 1, and this, as it's the lowest pivot, a wave 2 for the moment, unless we form something different that I'll explain right away. If this is wave 2, what is forming right there? Could it be a 1-2, 1-2? We're just on the verge of building the third wave, right? Naturally, that third wave, you would want to see a pretty, cracking breakout to the upside at some point, right? So that if this is wave 1, wave 2, 1-2, 1-2, you need the wave 3 at some point, and then the 4-5, 4-5 to complete that wave 3, and then the wave 4, and then the wave 5, right, to the upside. So this is where it becomes interesting. If this is going to be a wave 2 or a wave B, right? If it is wave 2, we are looking at the top of this movement. We are looking for an impulse from this low. We still haven't got wave 3 in. So that needs to develop, right? That does need to develop still. You need to get that breakout. And then, obviously look at that momentum to the upside with the 4-5s to finish 3, then another 4, and then another 5 here to the upside. 75K region is very interesting. I would naturally be looking for some possible swing short positions in that zone at 75K region. We do have the anchored VWAP, which is coming right from 98K high in that area. So naturally, this is a very, very interesting zone to see this topping out. In the most bullish case, what we would have is this being a wave 3, and then you form your larger wave 4, okay, and then your wave 5 here. Why is that? Because if we're counting this as wave 2, we've got 1, 2. You need your third wave, which has a couple of 1-2s, right? So you need a few 4-5s, and then you got your larger fourth wave, and then the fifth wave up. So that combines a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Preferably not overlapping, of course. I've just done the drawing and we have overlap here, so this could extend a little higher in that case. The bearish case scenario is coming up to this region, but instead of a wave 3, it's a wave C, right? As I mentioned here, this could either be wave 2 or wave B. So if it is wave B in this case, we're looking for an impulsive move, which naturally is not finished. We only have a few 1-2s in this case. We would need that breakout in the wave 3 and then start ranging. Once that breakout happens with high volume, we start getting above the highs of the range. That's the moment that we want to see that choppiness, the 4-5 situation into the anchored VWAP and get exhaustion here at 74, 75K region potentially, right? This is going to take a few days. That's the moment to get ready. That I will be getting ready for the swing short, because that movement up to sweep up the liquidity above the highs of the range, I prefer the ABC scenario very much. It has higher probability than this being a wave 2 based on timing. That's one of the things, right? This is 5 times longer than your wave 1 here, or wave A. Preferably, if it's 5 times longer, you give it priority to a corrective B wave or an X wave, not a wave 2. So, naturally, with that said, I'm in favor of an ABC if this plays out, rather than a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we form an impulsive move to the upside. So I want to be ready. I know what I'm looking for here as the swing short. And this ain't internal scalps, right? This has been a boring range. Unless you're scalping, there's no swing positions to be taken here, really, because the directional bias is, we could still wick above 72K or we could roll over to 60K. So, there is that doubt still of this range not being completed. So there's no real swing trades to be taken. Only internal scalp day trades such as the SFP that was mentioned yesterday, right? Get in, it moves down, some percentage, that's it. It's a profitable trade regardless. But for swing trades, I would be really interested in a big move, right? We're talking about big moves here. This would be the zone that has the potential, okay, once reaching this zone and getting that exhaustion, anchored VWAP, 75K region, finish that impulsive move, create your 4-5s. We need that gap here with volume. That is the moment we can combine ABC, 3-wave structure. Now, who remembers, right, this movement to the upside, right? We were just screaming here about we are unlikely going to succeed this move to the upside. The combination here of a WXY double zigzag, you got your last zigzag here. Remember, I still have it on the chart actually here somewhere, right? This one right over here, combination double zigzag WXY. We understood that getting the breakout continuation at this point at the 98k region, yeah, you can hit 100k, maybe 102k if it stretches, but we're really looking for the rollover here at this point. So this would be something similar, right? Where you got the range highs, right? And you're just waiting for the range highs to be hit and break out, right? You get above the range highs. This is very common for a liquidity grab, right? You got liquidity above the range highs. You claim that liquidity, then you turn around, right? So, you know, with that said, yeah, we get above the range highs of the last 4 weeks, which is above 72k, anchored VWAP from 98k, combination here for a 3-wave structure ABC. I mean, look no further, right? You know, I would be looking for that swing short position here to, you know, potentially get down below $60,000. And this is a big move. This is a 10k plus move. And that's the movements that I'm interested in, right? It's all good and nice to get into $1,000, $2,000 movements here in the last couple of weeks. But, you know, I'm kind of wanting to get into the big trade, which we don't have it available at the moment. At least for me, I don't have it available. I'm in no swing position locally here, either up or down. I'm looking to get into one naturally that would potentially be in the next coming days. So this is one scenario, right? This is one of them. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I know what I'm looking for here. If that is going to be the case, we need that third wave break up, internally. 1-2, couple of 1-2s, third wave breakout, and then start getting this choppiness into the 4-5 region, right above 72k, anchored VWAP coming down at 74k. This would be the interesting zone to look for the double triple tops, because once that is finished, you're likely going to get a move to the downside that is pretty aggressive. Okay, so this is the swing short territory that I'm looking for if we do get up there. I know how the price needs to develop, okay, to look for that exhaustion. That's literally the 4-5 situation. As we combine the previous waves, then what we do have is wave 3, 4, and 5 to complete this impulsive move to the upside, which we are looking to form a wave C to complete the A, B, and C. Okay, so that is one of the interesting zones for the swing short. Bullish case scenario would be you get rejected here. I'm in the swing short. We get that correction after the third wave could be higher, right? We don't know how high it can go, but then the third wave, the movement down, instead of moving down very aggressively, it forms a corrective structure, which then is a wave 4, right? And then you form your wave 5, and at the end of the day, you're looking for that impulsive move here to the upside. But we'll get to that. We need to reach it, of course. We'll get to that once we break out above naturally, okay? Because I will be here talking about, you know, am I interested in the swing short or not? In the end, am I in it? And how I'm managing my position. Of course, inside of the trading community, they will know about the swing trade position that I do take. Naturally, in the last few weeks, there's really not a swing trade to be taken here, guys. You know, this is very rangy, very much a scalping day trading environment, okay? Inside of the trading community, they will know. If you're interested, guys, super simple to join. Send me the word access in the Telegram. You just need to join one of the affiliate exchanges down below. Minimum deposit for your own trading, and we'll get you inside of the trading community. So that's one of the scenarios, okay, that has been explained, and that is literally getting above 72k, looking for the swing shorts with the anchored VWAP. Another scenario, naturally, we have more scenarios, of course. Is there still a triangle available here? And I have to say there is, as long as you maintain a higher low from this pivot and a lower high from this pivot, You could extend a massive triangle that could take weeks. There is still the triangle extension because you are still maintaining a higher low from this pivot and you're still maintaining a lower high from this pivot at 72.2. How does the triangle look at this point when we did create a higher high yesterday, right, from here? Well, let's break it down right away and how this would have to develop throughout the next couple of days to realize, you know, this might be the end of the triangle. So let's go with the pivot high here to the last lower high, which is this one. And then from this one, you know, let's just take this one right over here and we'll combine that. Sorry, we don't need that pivot. We need this one. Last higher low, which is this one right over here. The triangle would be looking like this. You got your A wave, your B wave, your C wave. You still need to form your D wave and your E wave throughout the next coming days, right? So you still need that, okay, D wave to get in and still need the E wave to get in also. Hang on a minute. Let's see if we get this right. This could still take a few days to develop. As you can see, it is getting squeezed, the lower highs, right? We're getting squeezed here with higher lows and lower highs. This would require at least one more, you know, one more higher low, a little bit deeper of a pullback. It is common to get your internal corrective moves either from A to B, right? You know, if you do take Fibonacci retracement from your A wave to the B wave, it is common for the C wave to get to the golden pocket to the 0.88 Fibonacci. This is the common target Fibonacci zones of all of your waves inside of a triangle. When you do take a look at the D wave, of course, right? If you do take a look at the lower part here of the B wave Fibonacci from the C wave, you literally got to bounce at the 50% Fibonacci. Common target zone is the golden pocket to the 0.88. Now, I have to say, this is a zone that I'm in, you know, I would be interested in still a scalp long position. It is very, very acceptable. Okay, we're going to break down, of course, the day trades and scalps that I'm looking for, of course, just like the one yesterday, which was that SFP from this pivot. I'm not really interested in what we're doing here. Interested in this zone over here for a bounce, which is also in confluence with the another bullish case scenario that I want to break down. Okay, as you can see, taking Fibonacci from this pivot higher low, which we are speculating on a B wave right now. I am speculating on a B wave, and this pivot high from yesterday as a C wave. Then the D wave, you know, the common targets of the waves inside of the triangle is in between the golden pocket and the 0.88. That's the most common area for one of the waves inside of a triangle. As you can see, it would be this zone right over here. This area right over here. If I get Fibonacci out of the way just to clean the chart, when we do get the fixed volume profile, that is literally coming back down to attempt a breakout of the value area low. So yes, an SFP from these lows is actually looking pretty interesting. That, of course, we would need to see, you know, another move down here, potentially between today and tomorrow. And that is a zone where the price could bounce. Most common way, of course, would be a swing failure pattern, right? Get the movement down, claim that liquidity beneath these higher lows that were formed on Sunday and Monday, and then get the acceptance back above, right? That is kind of the little long scalp day trade setup that I would be looking for here in this region, speculating on the possibility of the triangle formation. Okay, so you need that SFP, you need the acceptance back above the value area low, and that's kind of the entry area. This would be a day trade scalp 2, maybe a 3-to-1 risk reward potential here on this setup. just speculating on that E wave. There is another scenario that actually forms a higher low and goes to higher levels. Okay, we'll get to that right away, but this is a valid setup zone. Value area low, sweep up those higher lows, and then look for the acceptance. Okay, it's a little scalp. You got the point of control. It could be a barrier. It could get rejected. It's a nice, clean setup. When you combine Elliot Wave theory with the confluence, it's a valid setup basically that I do see, and I wanted to share that with you. Of course, still could range, and it, still treating it as a scalp. Okay, we've been bouncing and ranging for many weeks right now, and this would just be another one, right? If we do sweep up these lows with a value area low, just looking for an internal bounce. Okay, does it have the potential of going higher? Absolutely. This is why we leave a runner, right? We leave a runner, kind of protect position, and we leave a runner just in case the price decides it wants to pop out, right? Well, this would be one of the local entries that I'm looking for here internally inside of this range. We just range trading at the end of the day, right? Value area low, value area high, and we're just looking for the bounces, which we have been doing so very successfully the last few days. Value area low held nicely, value area high got resistance. Same scenario here, but in this case you do get kind of a fake out, right? A little bit of a shaky out scenario where it looks, oh my goodness, we're losing value area low, and it ends up getting that reaction, just a liquidity grab, just for getting another local bounce here. Okay, SFP would be the name of the game here. Sweep that liquidity and look for the acceptance back above that pivot, to take advantage of this bounce. We do have a bit of resistance at the point of control, so it's just a little internal move of $1,000 to $2,000, which is very, very acceptable here when we look at the combination of a swing failure pattern with a value area low and looking for a potential D wave, all right, of a triangle. Okay, so there's just one possibility. Okay, or just as we just get a few plans ready, and that's what we do here. Other scenarios to take into consideration. Other scenarios take into consideration here. It is true that based on the bullish case scenario that I explained, where either this being a wave 1 or a wave A, okay, this one right over here being your wave 2 or your wave B, it is true, even though I don't like it too much, but it is a possibility because we finished a 3-wave move up here from the lows of Saturday. It's a very 3-wavy structure. If this is concerned an impulse in another wave 1, it is true that because this is a 3-wave up that took the high, this could form an ABC running flat. If it is going to be a regular flat, you need to take out the lows here, and that's getting very, very close. So I would just be paying attention to the possibility of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe an ending diagonal here that could be on the formation, still bringing that long opportunity after sweeping up these lows. That would be forming an ABC flat. I mean, this is a bullish case scenario where we would be looking for a significant reversal here to get above the highs of the range. Because if this is a wave 1, you form a ABC running flat. In this case, I would say maybe an ending diagonal, a little bit of overlap. We'll have to pay attention to this price action. If it does form that movement down, bounce, and another low, I will be looking very carefully for that long position in this territory once you swept up that low. The other scenario that I explained is a D wave of a triangle, and you get a bounce, but you form a lower high, and then you roll down because you're looking to form that E wave. The movement up is very corrective, very 3-wavy, very choppy, and at the end of the day, for the triangle, it would be looking for another lower high. It still gives us gives me the possibility to enter that long because, regardless if it's going to be a triangle or the bullish case, which, you know, this is going to take a long time here compared to this, you know, movement up as an impulse. But it's both scenarios suggest that a bounce in this territory is very, very likely here. We're talking about between 65 and 64K region, which is, you know, dipping below the value area low. Despite it being the D wave of the triangle, in that case, you're bouncing, you're forming a lower high, and then you're moving down. In this case, you're forming an ABC flat, running flat, that would be, to form a wave 2, to then break out in a wave 3. You know, this is the thing, right? Will it end up breaking out, or will it bounce and form a lower high? This is the thing that I do not know, right? And this is the thing that I do not know. What I do know, that this area is a bouncing zone. That's what I do know. So this is all about managing the trade. You know, when do I enter? Well, as explained, an SFP from these higher lows with the value area low, you know, that's your entry point once you get acceptance back above this you know, the value area low, literally. I know that a bounce here is very, very likely. I do not know if the bounce is going to succeed and actually rally to the top of the range, or it's going to be very choppy and, you know, very overlappy and getting exhausted. If that is the case, then we'll, you know, give priority to the E wave of the triangle. But it's a setup, you know, it's a very, very valid setup, of course. So it's just an entry, good way to manage the trade. Naturally want to take some profits as we get that bounce, considering the triangle, right? So this is also one scenario that is very, very possible on the formation throughout the next coming days. Okay, ABC running flat, as we did take out the top of the start of the A wave, and we look for that. I would say a diagonal, unless, you know, you could form a big 3 wave and then a 4 in 5. It could be an impulse. We're just going to have to see how that develops, of course, throughout the next couple of days. But this is a zone that I am very much looking for a bounce. It's a nice little day trade that could turn into a swing trade if it ends up being a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, right? You end up breaking up throughout the next coming days. So that's another one that we do have here inside of the trading setup book here for Bitcoin, that could be developing, of course. All right, so other scenarios that we do have here for Bitcoin. I don't have a scenario that literally finishes all of this right over here. It wouldn't make sense to finish here really and start rolling down. I got somebody yesterday in the comment section, shout out to him, I can't remember his name, but there is obviously the potential still of, instead of looking at wave 1s and wave 2s, right, the scenario or the triangles, the larger triangle is looking for a D wave and then an E wave, and then we roll over. The bullish case scenario is either looking for 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, right? We get up here. The other scenario is looking for the running flats. This is wave 1, A, B, C. You sweep up these lows and then you get the movement to the upside. And the other scenario, instead of looking at this as wave 1 or wave A and this wave 2 or wave B, is that we have this as a wave W in a zigzag. And then one of the counts here that somebody mentioned on yesterday's stream, which I have to give a very, very valid count on this, is forming a triangle on your X wave. The triangle here on your X wave would be looking like this. You got a very long A wave, B, C, D, and E right there to finish your wave X. Wave X can be any corrective structure, and a triangle is one of them, of course. So you would have all of this being your A wave from high to low, lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low. You can fit, even though A wave is a little bit out of proportion, of course, here, but it is a very, very valid count, I have to say. With that said, damn, the range could actually continue. And, you know, there's one bullish case scenario here, which is you form a zigzag move to the upside. So in that case, we're just starting the A wave, okay, of the zigzag. You want to see this, this, and this, literally. This could still, you know, take many days eventually. If your X wave finished here, your Y wave could take many days here to develop. Inside of the zigzag, what you want to see is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You want to see, you know, a 5, 3, and 5 to form that ABC. So this is going to take a little bit of time naturally, if this is the correct count to get developed to form that zigzag here. But it is one scenario that is still very much a possibility, but it's just early stages at the moment. We have so many different ones locally for the end of the structure that are available. We'll consider this one once we got that movement up, okay, and take out 72k, and we formed maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an impulsive move. Then we'll consider, right, we might have an A wave here. We're still looking for the rejection here in this 74k region, as explained. Anchored VWAP, finish an impulse, looking for the 4-5s, still looking for a rejection here regardless. So that it doesn't matter if this is still going to extend. You know, shorting opportunities are very much available here at the 74k region, as explained on the previous scenarios. So yeah, this is one of them. This is just going to take a little bit of time. You want your 5-wave move up from that pivot here, which is the end of the E wave of the triangle, which we are detecting as a wave X. If it is going to end up in a zigzag, you need the impulse in A wave, correction in B wave, and then the impulse in your C wave. If we were to get this kind of price action, you know, once we are at this stage, we would be very much ready. I would be very much ready for this scenario, double zigzag, and looking for the move to the downside. Still interested in swing short opportunities. This is just going to take a few days to develop. It's just mapping the potential scenario, okay, that could happen. Early stages, I would say, for this. But just in case the range does get a little bit more boring for the next week, then we just need to extend the sideways correction possibilities here. And make no mistake, you know, the swing shorts need to be looked at later on once we've developed the pattern. So of course it's not all zigzag up and take out 72k plus. The possibility of a Y wave here forming a flat, and this brings the conclusion to still an acceptable long position that I'm looking at if we swing failure pattern the lows here that we formed on Sunday at 65k. Another way that the Y wave could develop here is that you form a flat from this pivot E right there, because that is the end of the X wave. If that is going to be the case, you're looking for the lows to be claimed, and in this case then you would be looking for that impulsive move to the upside, literally looking for your Y wave to form a flat. I don't know if this pattern is going to, you know, is going to evolve here, but as explained, we got so many different waves and combinations here at this confluence area that a swing failure pattern from 75k can go down to, 65k can go down to 64k is just an area where I would be looking for a bounce. A lot of the scenarios suggest that if we do get down to this zone, a bounce is very, very possible and very likely in this case, because you got a lot of combinations when we look at Elliot Wave theory, you know, and coincidence, it is at the value area low of this entire range again. So you know, it's a zone where I'm looking for longs. You know, there's a high probability long setup here in this area. Once you get the reaction, get above the value area low, get above this low. It's not about longing the dip as you're breaking down. It's about longing the acceptance back above the value area low and that pivot low that was formed on Sunday at 65k. That's the zone to long, because you know you need a stop loss. You need a acceptance back above the zone so I can have a stop loss and, you know, give that potential for this bounce. Okay, it's not about longing the breakdown when you're breaking down value area low. You know, you need to get back above the lows, because this could be a successful breakdown. I don't know. You need a fake out, right? How do you know about a fake out? Well, you need the movement down and get back above. Then you know it could be a fake out, right? And that's when you execute the trade. So that is one of them. If we were to move down from here, right, say that we form a lower high and move down to this region, this is the zone that I'm looking for a day trade long entry. If we were to get that impulsive move throughout the next coming days to get back above the highs at 70k, naturally this would be the zone that I'm looking for shorts. Need to detect that fifth wave. Does it combine nicely for an ABC flat? And you know, take that decision. Obviously this is in the next coming days, but it's another pattern that could evolve here. The closest one that I have is the long in this zone. That's the closest one that I have for a long. Shorts at the moment, we need more information, right? There's more information needed for me to be confident in that day trade to swing short position. As explained, not confident here for a swing short, not confident in not even a day trade short. So longs are interesting in this zone. If we do get that SFP, we got a lot of combinations when we consider Elliot Wave theory. And for shorts, well, naturally we're gonna have to see how the price evolves, right? Do we get that low taken? Does it form an impulsive move up? It's time to detect the fifth wave. Do we have high volume? A big move here, perfect. You know, we're looking for the 4-5. This becomes another SFP zone, if you have that fourth and fifth wave getting developed here, right? That's the moment we're looking for the SFP. That is the short that I would be very much interested in. What if the price gets a very poor bounce? So we come down here in this zone, we sweep up this low, and then we form, you know, a three-wave structure and overlap. That's the moment that I will start looking for the triangle E wave, right? So in that case, you know, as explained before, you know, this could be the A wave, that could be B wave, C wave, D wave. If we get that choppy bounce with overlap, then E wave here could be the name of the game. If we get an impulse down and that choppy bounce, it might be the last chance. That would be the opportunity zone to say, right, we're coming to the end of the range already. And you know, if I can detect naturally that corrective structure in the next coming days, this would be the swing short entry to take out 60k. Okay, so it's still information is needed, can be overlappy. We could still form some internal waves, but we're getting there, right? The point is that this is coming to its end stages, and you know, we're likely going to get that clear scenario to either, you know, break down or break to the upside. You know, there's hidden trading opportunities as we develop the waves. Obviously this white box is one of them, of course, right? And for the swing short, need a little bit of more information here. So if we get that corrective bounce to form that E wave of the triangle, then, you know, get that impulse down, get the choppy bounce. I have a stop loss, which is the top of the E wave. And this would be the speculative short down that I would be looking for to get sub 60k. A few days are needed for this, but information is developing, and we will get to that stage. So those are the two main scenarios. Two main scenarios I've talked about, four at least. The flat here for a wave Y, zigzag. Yes, it's possible. We're just gonna have to see here throughout the next coming days, of course, for that short trade. But yeah, it's long zone is this one, and depending on the bounce is what we need to understand, right? Because if the bounce is impulsive, then I'm looking for the ABC flat to finish this WXY. We're just looking for the finish of the flat scenario. Detect that fifth wave, detect the SFPs, very, very possible. And if not, the triangle is also one that looks very, very interesting. Okay, triangle is looking interesting. Get that movement down, get the reaction, corrective bounce, and naturally, you're looking at this pivot to be the top of the E wave. So once you get that movement down to confirm that the bounce is corrective, that's the moment where I can speculate on the short trade, stop loss above the high, and look for the price to roll over already at some point. It's not going to take long once we get that price action developed, of course. But price has been a little bit boring, but we will be breaking out from this zone at some point very, very soon, guys. It is extending. This range is getting very, very extended, and we don't have usually these such long ranges unless you have a very, very high time frame move down, right? This was extremely long. This was, I think, was about 3 months, November to mid-January, so over 2.5 months, this rangy structure. When we do take a look at this range with the proportion of the movement down, it is extending a little bit. It's very, very likely coming to its end stages. I would give it a few more days, and we're likely going to pop out, be it to the upside or to the downside, above 72k or get down to 60k. This is days away of getting that movement, of course, but as explained with the waves and the scenarios, we still have a few more waves that could develop. Okay, those are basically the scenarios here. Okay, those are basically the scenarios that we have in this zone. There's not more scenarios. Explain the bullish case that sweeps up 72k. I'm interested in shorts here, naturally, guys. Interested in shorts. I think this would be a liquidity grab above 72k. It's going to be a moment to start looking for exhaustion here for that rollover. Or the best scenario here for the long would be beneath this level, get that swing failure pattern. There's so many different combinations here. You got the D wave of the triangle, so that would be A, B, C, D, E. Looking for a higher low at the golden pocket to the 0.88, sweep the low, get that internal bounce. The other scenario would be the wave W, the wave X right there in this triangle right over here, and then look for the flat. So you got A, B, C, still looking for that long position here in this zone if it gets a reaction. And then for the short, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of time here for the short for me to get in. I don't have any internal pivots on the lower time frame here for a short position. Anyway, let's go right away through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community and see what's going on. We are going to be taking a look at the comments and see what people are saying here. Something that is interesting, many weeks ago, we did talk about oil, guys. We know how things are going in the Middle East. There's some tensions going on right there throughout the last week. And we were kind of predicting that something is going to happen, right? Something's going to happen. And we'll end up seeing oil at some point in the next coming months getting above $100 a barrel of oil. And this was many weeks ago. Many weeks ago, we were talking about this squeeze triangle, right? Very technical scenario here, where we are looking for oil for this to be a bull flag, literally, right? If we keep it in simple terms, bull flag on oil, getting squeezed to the end of the apex. We're going to start seeing bad news around, and you know, I don't want to give any names or anything, you know, don't want to go political here, but you know, we're basically talking about, you guys, in a few months, you know, there's going to be something that shit is hitting the fan. And you know, then obviously the news is what is driving the price of oil, of course, to the upside. It has something to do, of course, but this is just a bullish pennant that is just ready to break out to the upside. So that's kind of happening at the moment, of course, with the tensions going on worldwide. And I do believe that oil would get a spike up to plus $100 a barrel of oil in the next coming months. This is the weekly time frame, okay? So this is 1 week candlestick, so it's going to take time. But overall, we're getting that movement up on oil, which was kind of very much expected a few months ago. Right, let's go through the comment section. What are the people saying? Bitcoin scenarios on the higher time frame being basically covered. What we're looking at here, range to continue. I am still leaning more bearish, guys, on the higher time frame. I do not believe that this is the low of the bear market at $60,000, and this has higher probability to be something corrective, very long choppy corrective structure. One of the local bullish scenarios does have potential of taking out 72k as explained, but still very interested in shorts naturally above this area, depending on how the price action develops, which inside of the trading community, such as with myself or Devolt, the community is updated every single day with all of the movements that could possibly happen, guys. If you're interested in that, make sure to send me the word access inside of the Telegram, okay? Send me a DM. Super simple to access. Sign up with one of the affiliate links and we can get you a few months for free, all right, inside of the trading community. Let's go right away through comment section. Right away through the comment section. But yeah, I'm still leaning on the higher time frame bearish, guys. I don't think that any movement up here is going to be impulsive or very strong reversal sign, and high probability based on the information that we have, basically bear market, very corrective range, very hard for this to be something bullish. Wave 1 and wave 2 extremely long. Likely all of this is part of a corrective structure, which naturally means there is higher probability at some stage to take out $60,000. Despite it being a triangle, despite it being an ABC, we get above $72,000, then roll over, despite of which pattern develops, high probability to take out 60k. Let's go. Much love. Let me just get a drink of this cup of tea, guys. Comment section. Hit the like button like it owes you money, says A Trader. Much love, my man. Thanks for joining the streaming, giving that insane support. Did you change the name of your channel, Divine Hood? Yes, it's because Devolt is combined in the channel. Okay, it's my name was there, so we decided to get Devolt on board just because we go hand in hand with the analysis, and of course my name was on the channel, so it wasn't fair if Devolt is getting on board for just to be my name. Okay, so Mind Pillar Markets, we decided to change the name on that, okay, because it's two of us right now on the channel. Legends, smash the like button. Let's get to 150 likes. Man, bear market vibes. This is really bear market vibes. Views down, likes down. People are like tired. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. Very bear market vibes. We don't get these numbers. when price is pumping like crazy in a bull market. People are tired. But anyway, we'll be back with a bull market, guys, at some point. We just need to trade the charts at this point. What can we do? Hold the bags or trade them, right? I prefer to trade them naturally. Maybe scalp short SFP. Scalp short SFP from this zone. I mean, if we do take into consideration the previous day value levels, I think we're coming into a high volume node. Probably have an order block somewhere in this region. There is a 1 hourly order block in this territory. So you got 1 hour order block for all of those internal scalp day traders coming into high volume here. We got that P on the volume profile. Naturally high volume from the consolidation here. 1 hour order block for those aggressive traders. Internal short position here. Do we have a long trade? I have to say that the long trade setup for me that I'm looking at is sweeping up these lows. This is the higher lows that I want the price to sweep for that bounce. I am looking for my long down here. Not interested internally what is happening in this zone, because I am aware of the bullish case, even though this local movement to the downside, not the greatest for an impulse, but could be counted as an impulse down. Also a correction, even though if it is a correction, this is extremely long compared to this wave. There's pros and cons on both scenarios here, so there's no high probability short or long in this territory for me at the moment. Very choppy and messy. This could be impulsive, it could be corrective. Is it a 1-2, 1-2, and then we break out finally in a wave 3? I don't think so, but it could. Do we form a 3-wave up, and this is an impulse, and we form another move to the downside? So 3-wave down at the end of the day. A 3-wave down looks more interesting. I mean, if getting this pump in this territory would have been better to consider shorts instead of longing. You don't want a long FOMO, long a pump. But yeah, where I do see high probability for a bounce is, sweeping up these lows. That's what I'm waiting for. Here we could break out, so it's just we could move down. I don't have a high probability. If we move down, I have a high probability scenario here. Based on all of the scenarios that were explained throughout the first hour of the stream, right? So, that's what we got. Let's go through comment section. Say hello to the absolute legends. I mean, this is the thing, right? This is the beauty. If you're very active. I used to be very active with scalping and day trading a lot before. I'm not that active at the moment, just because I don't need to, right? It's just something that, when I'm more into swing trading, day trades that could turn into swing trades just with heavier amounts. But before, when I did not have much capital, I used to scalp a lot. I used to look for very, very local opportunities. But someone's saying here in the comment section, I earned more the last few days doing all-time scalp shorts than the whole year. So, somebody's saying that he's earned a lot more scalping throughout the last few days than actually the whole year. We have a few hours of pump ahead. BTC to 105k soon. Well, 105k soon. 105k soon. Holy smokes. A pump all the way up here. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that happening anytime soon, if you ask me, really. I don't think so. Let's keep it real. Swinging with high capital and low risk is really good. Absolutely, XX. That is totally true. Love it. Andy Devils is an amazing trader and educator. He absolutely is. Divine Hood. Much love, my man. Hope all is well with you. Right. there is a very good chance Netanyahu is dead. Okay, I don't want to read this out loud, but it's not yet certain, according to US General in Qatar. Great news for the crypto world. Tonight, ship carrying him was attacked by Iranian missiles at his US military base in Qatar. Wow, I mean, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I'll have to take a look at the news later on, see what the heck is going on. But I kind of, most of the time, stay away. Naturally, at some point, you're going to see the news anyway. BTC sideways for 30 months. JC, absolutely. It has been going sideways for quite a long time. And it's probably going to extend a little bit longer. It is actually pretty boring price action still. Devil in the house. Knock, knock. Like smashed. Hi, everyone. Devil the legend himself. This is why we rebranded the name of the channel, because Devil is on board. And my name was on the channel. So Mind Pillar Markets is what we decided to call it. It's me and him. All right. He's doing the morning updates. I'm doing the evening ones. And this is why we rebranded the channel's name. Unfortunately, there's this dude, John Connor, that can just shit talks on X all the time. Okay. Everyone in chat, hit the like button. Suzanne, much love to you. Thank you very much for this support. Delusion. Is that me or somebody else? There's no delusion here. It's only technical analysis and looking at the possible scenarios. I'm not sure if that comment was for me or for somebody else in the comment section. All right. Can we be doing a flat? Yeah, well, all of the scenarios have been explained, okay? All of the scenarios have been explained on how the price could develop and where are the zones that I'm looking for opportunities. There's one in this area. Of course, they have been explained throughout the first hour of the stream. If you haven't seen that, then make sure to go and see it. There's another opportunity in this zone depending on the bounce. Okay, so if the bounce here is going to be corrective, right? We talk about the opportunity that could be in this territory. If that is the E wave, okay, E wave could be the scenario A, B, C, D, E. Depending on the bounce, if it's looking corrective, we get that movement down. You know, this is one of those points that you will have a few hours to decide, because this is a swing short, of course. And inside of the trading community, there will be aware, such as myself or Devil, is entering into that trade. I'm more of a swing trade guy. You know, remain very, very patient, and I go in heavyweight when I see the opportunity. Okay, when I see a clear opportunity, I go in heavyweight, and in that case, you know, I would be looking for the movement down here to 60k. If we do get that movement up, they've all been explained. Okay, all of the scenarios have been explained. Looking for an ABC, that is the case that we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am looking still for a 3-wave corrective structure, and we'll be eyeing this zone, of course, at the 74, above 72k, right? 72 to 75k region for that exhaustion, to then look for the swing short, of course. It all depends on how we get up there, right? If we are going to be pumping here with high volume, then there's no short to be taken on the pump with increasing volume, right? We need the exhaustion. Exhaustion is needed to take that trading decision, and we'll get to that, of course, if the price were to get above 72k. And looking at the votes, we do have plus 72k coming next for Bitcoin, 58%. We got 350 votes, and how many likes do we have? 350 votes, and we do have only 150 likes. Let's try and get those likes to 200, and we'll continue through the comment section. We can take some other markets, maybe other cryptos, or maybe discuss the 5-minute time frame for maybe internal scalps of movements of $300-500 for Bitcoin. Who's up for that? Let's get the like button. I'll read the comment section to see what the people want. Let's get that like to 200 while I go around the table and have a drink of this good old English breakfast tea. I'll tell you what. We'll do another thing. We'll do another thing right now. If we do get 500 likes, I'm going to do a $500 giveaway now on stream. Okay? Now on stream, if we do get to 500 likes. That might be something attractive. It's super simple. I do make someone a moderator. I'll do this. Boom, boom. Choose somebody. Well, I'll make him a moderator. Shares his wallet. And we'll do a giveaway. If we do get to 500 likes. Let's go through comment section. Legends, let's get the like to equal the numbers of viewers. Absolutely. We have some pretty extreme bearish CVD divergence. We can take a look at CVD as well. Pretty extreme bearish CVDs locally. Yeah, we do have some major higher highs, at least on Bybit. Bybit longs are coming in here in the last few hours. 6.3 million here on the delta. That got smacked down straight away. Yeah, longs are entering. There is some bearish CVDs happening here locally, as Divine Hood said. Likes, nice. Now we have a deal, says Master. Yeah, absolutely. Now we have a deal. Nice. Nothing is for free, they say. Right. In all the Middle East, this coming morning, the news will be buy BTC and move. Your future is saved. BTC to 105k soon. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Maybe. I'm not too sure. I just shared your live stream on my Facebook trying to get you more likes, brother. Absolutely awesome. 500 likes on a bear market. Let's go. Yeah, I do know in a bear market it's complicated. It's complicated. Let's go, Legends. 200 likes. We got to 200. That's awesome. Right. Y Wave. Right. Let's take a look at Ash here because he's asking something technical here regarding Elliot Wave theory. Y Wave seemed to end in a regular flat after C. Claims A. Highs yesterday. But what is this structure forming now? The problem with the movement up that we had yesterday, we did talk about the possibility of forming a flat, but the main reason why we're not discussing that is because we ended up forming a three-wave structure here. Okay, that is a problem. This was one of the scenarios that we talked about, right? Forming a flat here, a regular flat. However, the C wave of a flat or even a zigzag needs to be a 5-wave move. You know, that's the main problem here. We don't have a 5-wave move from this pivot. Remember, we are looking at this as an ABC flat. So, you know, that is concerning. This is why this scalp short that was mentioned yesterday on stream on the SFP, it's a scalp short. You know, I'm not looking for this to be the ultimate SFP level to move down, you know, to 60k in the coming days, because we have 1, 2, 3, right? And, you know, overall we did get a move down significantly. That's all good and nice, but for something finished here, it's unlikely because of this 3-wave move up. So if we would have finished with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then yes, it would have been pretty interesting for this scenario. Zigzag W, wave X, and a, you know, complex WXY, and then you're flat here in wave Y. But we finished the C wave in a 3-wave structure, which means that, you know, this is unlikely the scenario. This is why we're extending it. We're looking at several more options, and it seems like the range could continue still for the next coming days. And that's basically with the information that we have from yesterday's rejection with the last few days price action. So for this to be the C wave of this flat, you know, it's unlikely because, you know, this is very, 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 very 3-wavy, as you can see, which means range to continue. right? Range to continue still. Not for long, not for long, not for long. I would say a few more days, regardless if we get above 72k region or not. It's still part of the range, we would say. What about talking about scalp short down to sweep the 65k higher low? Yeah, we can talk about that. Let's talk about the 5-minute time frame and try and discuss what do we have here. Is it more of a corrective move down? Man, there's so much overlap here. It is a little bit of a... This is not a clear move, I would say. It's not. It's a very, very choppy. It's the 5-minute time frame. This on its own could even be a double zigzag where you have move down, correction, another move down here. I mean, if we would go on the micro count, man, it's going to take me 10 minutes to really go through the different options here. But just in a nutshell, zigzag down, potential sideways correction for your wave X, and then another zigzag to the downside here. Man, 5-minute here, it's just lots of overlap, very, very noisy. Sometimes it's just better to zoom out a little bit and just go with the 15-minute to 1 hour time frame, because we can talk about the resistance. Naturally, there is resistance here. This is why we also got this rejection. We do have the previous day value area, point of control zone, the high volume node area. So there's no doubt that this zone is resistance. That's where we have all of the volume. So you get in all of that base of support that we did have yesterday. So you got support here, support here. You know, this actually is the zone where we got rejected. But yeah, very, very difficult, I would say. You're pumping hard into the level. This could be corrective, and you look for more upside. It's just not a clear area. This is what, you know, sometimes we just need to sit on your hands, right? This is a sit on my hand zone. But yeah, I would want to favor. This is when we take the other waves into consideration, right? You got this movement up, this correction. If the low is here, I would say that this is a sideways correction right there. You got a 1, 2, 3. It would have been nice for a 4 and a 5, but that didn't happen. So the problem is, from this low to this high, if we want to see all of this as part of this wave over here, we definitely have a timing problem. Okay, when we get Fibonacci time from this pivot low, this massive pump that we had yesterday, you know, this is 7-8 times longer where we created this low. So for this to be part of a correction from this wave, there's actually low probability when we consider time. So if we looking at this as a wave 1, a wave 2, and this another wave 1 and a wave 2, there is a timing problem with this wave. I wouldn't say there's a wave 4 and 5 here. This is extremely small. If we're going to count this as a wave 1, 2, 3, there's no 4 and 5 here. There's no 4 and 5. I wouldn't say there's a little 4 and 5 in this zone. It's just too shallow. So I do like the idea that we form a lower high here, if I'm honest with you. So considering shorts in this region at the golden pocket 7-8 Fibonacci to get back down to the lows, I'm actually favoring, if you ask me, do you favor a move up to 70.1k or a move down to 66.1k from this zone? I'm going to go with this one. Just because of timing. I mean, this is extremely choppy. It can be counted as an impulse. There would be a way of counting this as an impulse, I'm sure, because this pivot bounce did not overlap this one. So you could fit in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. but you could also form a double zigzag. I mean, this is the problem on the 5 minute. You got so many internal waves that you can fit either a correction or an impulse. So it's lower time frames on Elliot Wave theory can get a bit too noisy. This is why it's preferred to get to the 15-minute, 1 hour time frame to have a clear picture on the scenarios. But if we go on the lower time frame, you know, if you were asked to ask me, this naked point of control, high volume node zone, you know, we got a big cluster right there. You can see the P here on the volume profile. It's big volume in this zone. Golden pocket, 7/8 Fibonacci, big cluster. You got an order block, I think, on the 1 hourly time frame, right? This can be counted as an impulse. If you put a gun on my head and say, what comes next, 70.1k or 60k, 66k, I'm gonna say lower high and down instead of a higher low and up, purely based on what happened here. This movement down can be counted as an impulse. It can be counted as a double zigzag. So, however, when you are confused of this is when you zoom out and you say, right, does it make sense for this to be a wave 1 and a wave 2, and there's another wave 1 and another wave 2? Well, the problem is here, you don't have a 5-wave structure. It's a very 3-wavy, if you count this being the low. You can combine this, I'm sure, in a WXY. We're not going to do that. But if this were to be the impulse, then you have a timing problem here. This is extremely long compared to this fast move up. So preferably, this movement here is an ABC, is a 3-wave structure from this pivot. And, you know, that's why we came up with, you know, either the triangle, it makes sense, you know, this scenario right over here, where you have your A wave, B wave, C wave, D wave, and E wave to, oh, sorry, wrong tool here. That's one scenario, very 3-wavy. The other scenario was this being a wave 1 and this being a correction, 3-wave up, and now you form that movement down either in an impulse or a diagonal. We're looking to sweep up these higher lows from Monday, Sunday, Monday, right? Sunday and Monday basically, and then the bounce. Kind of prefer the move down to get beneath this zone when I combine the waves here. It looks better. It looks better for the price to actually move down to this territory than actually moving up to this territory at this point. You know, naturally you'd want to get in at the highest level possible. Even this movement down now is looking a bit corrective and choppy. Yeah, not, you know, don't have a clear setup here where we are at the moment. No clear setup. Naturally, golden pocket to the 7/8 is, you know, obviously the highest pivots where you can get in with better risk management. If you move down already, you know, getting into a short down here, it doesn't make much sense really. So yeah, you got the base of support, resistance. You got the high volume node here from yesterday also at the 7/8 Fibonacci. You know, naturally, if you are attempting a lower high, would be best in this zone. Anyway, let's go through the comment section and see what the people are saying. And I've explained the zones. I know this is not a clear environment for me anyway. The zones that I'm looking for is here or either in this territory, of course, based on the 1 hour time frame scenarios. This is where I'm looking for my next trade setup. Yesterday, yesterday was relatively nice because we were pumping into resistance and we had a swing failure pattern level, right? So yesterday was an easy setup, I have to say, right? On stream, where we are right now, there's a bit of noise. It could be 1-2, 1-2. It could be a 3-wave ABC up. There's no clarity. If there's no clarity, then you need to wait for your biggest interest zones, right? Because trading is all about, if there's nothing clear in the zone, then wait for the clear zones, right? Wait for the clear zones to reach. And I know what I'm looking for on the price action, so that's what we do, right? We plan the trades. If there's nothing internally good for a scalp, I mean, you can always find a little internal scalp, but I'm not interested in these little $200-$300 moves really here. So just wait for the next zones, and next zones is this one, or if we move up, I'm looking for an impulsive move. I would need that wave 3, and then looking for the 4-5, of course, the exhaustion into the levels of resistance, and that's where I'm going to be looking for the short. So longs in this territory, if we do get the SFP for an internal bounce, might be a good bounce, might be a poor bounce, doesn't matter. Or look for the shorts later on in the next coming days, or look for the shorts if we get that triangle, we've moved down and we get a corrective bounce, then I will be looking for the shorts. So and we're looking for the bigger moves. I just don't see a big move happening in this zone as of yet. It's going to be quite rangy in my opinion. Couple of thousand down, couple of thousand up, and still not going to have a proper direction in my opinion, just as we've done in the last few weeks. It's been a bit boring, guys, I have to say, but there's nothing we can do. Andy, any thoughts about silver? Silver, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask some of the people inside of the trading community. Maybe some people did get into this short position as a failed auction. But yeah, for silver, at the moment for silver, yeah, at the moment for silver, I will do some analysis on silver, and I will be keeping, this is going to take at least 20-30 minutes to do some proper analysis. Was doing analysis on silver throughout the last few weeks, and I did get into a swing long on silver, which all of the profits, well, most of the profits, I think around about 90% of the profits were taken on this swing long position at the low $70 region to take out 92k, which was the target, and then look for a possible day trade short on silver. So the idea here was long in this territory because we had a lot of levels. SFP from these higher lows, a weekly level. We back tested the weekly very nicely and looking for the push up to take out this lower high on silver. And we did, that was the target from the long, any long that was taken, either the SFP or the back test of the weekly inside of the trading community, was letting the people know very much about that bounce in silver many weeks ago, right? It was either the SFP from 70k and look for that bounce to the 92k region, and after a few weeks, possible SFP from that 92k zone was possible. We did get the breakout and then lost the level just in the last couple of days. So it did fake out from this high volume node and the lower highs that we formed here on silver the first week of February. So that's the only, these are swing trades. So it's a longing from this zone. And if you lose this level, right, it's where you get into the short naturally at the moment, because it's a higher time frame analysis. This is a long to this pivot. This is a short down here. I wouldn't say down to this low. You know, this is like more of a day trade, small little swing trade. As an SFP, stop loss at the high, you get the movement down, you collect some profits, you're a defensive. But I don't have any major analysis, but I will be doing some analysis on silver between today and tomorrow, and I'll be keeping up the updates inside of the trading community, okay, on the Telegram. If you are interested in that, make sure to send me a DM with the word access down below, okay? We can jump you in. You just need to sign up throughout one of the affiliate links, Bluffin, Velto, BTCC, a minimum deposit for your own trading, and you will be getting all of these different updates, not only on Bitcoin, but also on other markets. And I need to update right now because the movements have already happened on silver, which is bounce to 92k and rejection from 92k zone with that failed auction. So need to update with silver, but literally the movements have happened, and we'll be analyzing this. It's just going to take a bit of time, and I don't want to do this on YouTube. People are going to feel bored about it. I want to get something ready. Once it's ready, just give the analysis inside of the trading community, okay? You can trade silver on Bluffin, BTCC. Those are some really good exchanges that I do have down below, guys. You do have the links, okay, in the description. If you do that, send me a DM and we'll jump you inside of the community. 337 viewers, 220 likes. The math is not mathing. So smash the like button. Yeah, it is what it is. What can we do? It is what it is. But yeah, the higher time frame scenarios on the 1 hourly, it's going to be a bit rangy. Not much has to be updated here. Just giving you a little bit of a heads up on how the price could develop. Obviously, the trading community, such as with myself or Devolt, will be updated. Let's see if we do find a new trading setup. Whoever got into that SFP short yesterday, congratulations. It was just a good high probability rejection from value area high, and the SFP basically, you know, take it as a scalp day trade, right? I don't see any big moves happening as of yet in this region. This zone has to be treated as a scalping zone, okay, and be very, very defensive. Not much more. We will be getting a bigger move at some point. Hopefully we do detect the direction, the high probability direction. It will be posted inside of the trading community. If we're not on YouTube when we exactly get the trade, such as yesterday, you know, this was quite lucky that it just happened on stream that we got the movement up to the SFP. But that's, you know, we never know if we're going to be streaming or not. If we're not, then we try and provide the update inside of the trading community on Telegram. Legends, thank you very much for joining today, okay? I'm going to wrap it up. Chop City it is. I know, Roscoe, it is. I'm currently in no... the only trade that I have open is that silver trade. All of my local trades have been closed, such as the long and the SFP short. Yeah, I'm taking them as scalps, guys. You know, there's no direction that I have with high probability from this point to break out the range. It's just Chop City, as someone said in the comment section. Legends, thank you very much for joining today's stream. Thank you for smashing up the like button. I'll be back with more tomorrow. If not, inside of the trading community in Telegram, you know what to do. If you're not in already, send me a DM. First link in the description. Thank you, everybody. All the scenarios on the higher time frame have been explained. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.